Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. It's really a true honor to have the Honorable Minister Farrakhan in Iran at this very sensitive time. I think the timing is is the most important factor in this event right now. We're very happy to hold it in PressTV. PressTV is the voice of Iran internationally, and that's why it's always being condemned and stifled. It's great to have Mr. Farrakhan at the time, which is at the last day of his trip to Iran, in which we have seen the avalanche of very critical press reviews and press attacks by the Zionists. Therefore, it's a good time to be able to think and analyze and respond. So, without any, yeah, so you got it.
Oh, yeah.
Any further ado, the Nation of Islam stands as a very unique, organized body, very well respected among Christians and Muslims alike in the United States. And in these past few days, Mr. Farrakhan has had many different sittings, talking at the universities and also in Qom, with the Grand Ayatollah Makarim Shirazi, with Mr. Mohsen Rezai, the Expediency Council, and student bodies. So we're very happy that the culmination of the trip is this press conference in PressTV. So thank you very much, Mr. Farrakhan, and the floor is yours now.
Assalamu alaikum. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. In the name of Allah, the Beneficent, the Merciful, I bear witness that there is no God but He, and we thank Him in America for Allah's intervention in our affairs, in the person of Master Fard Muhammad, the great Mahdi who came among us to start us in the process of being resurrected from a mental, moral, spiritual, economic, political, cultural, and social death, that we can stand before you today as Muslims. As our fathers, when they were brought out of Africa, many of them were already Muslims. But the enemies of Islam knew that if we kept our faith, they could never make us permanent slaves. So the aim of the enemy was to strip us of our names, our language, our culture, our history, our religion, our God, and grow us up in America with no knowledge of self, no knowledge of our origin in this world. But thanks for the coming of Master Fard Muhammad and raising up among us the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, I can come before you today and say Assalamu alaikum, and my name is no longer the slave name that I once had. I didn't realize when my teacher named me Farrakhan that he was subtly connecting me to you. Because when I came to Iran, the last time I was here, I noticed a village or a town in southern Iran named Farrakhan. I saw my name again and again in this country. And I said, well, maybe this country is the place that I should be, particularly at a time like this. I'm honored.
Can I have the
I'm sorry,
translation?
I forgot.
No problem. به نام خدا خدایی که ما رو آفرید و به نام مهدی موعود که زمانی خواهد آمد و دنیا را از شر بدیها نجات خواهد داد. من دارم کلیتی از صحبت ایشون رو خدمتتون میگم. سعی میکنم که تو قسمت بعدی کوتاه‌تر و با ترجمه دقیق‌تر خدمتتون مطالب رو عنوان بکنم. دشمنان اسلام قصد دارن ما رو از فرهنگمون، از ناممون و از خدایمون جدا کنن و ما رو با دانش بیدانشی از معرفت نفس بزرگ بکنن. به خاطر آمدن محمد مصطفی هست که ما اینجا هستیم، به خاطر نام اسلام که نام بردگی رو از ما زدود. معلم من اسم من رو فراخان گذاشت و من وقتی که آخرین بار به ایران آمدم متوجه شدم که چقدر نام فراخان در ایران فراگیر هست و زمانی بود که به این نتیجه رسیدم که ایران کشوری هستش که من باید اینجا زیاد بیام به خاطر نام فراخان و به خاطر معنای فراخان که من اینجا پیش شما هستم. Please.
I'm exceedingly honored to be here at this time. And I want to thank the Supreme Leader, Ayatollah Khamenei, for the privilege of an audience with him. I want to thank my host, the Expediency Discernment Council, Dr. Mohsen Rezai, and Dr. Fuad Izadi, who extended the invitation to me to come to Iran at this time to deliver a speech at Tehran University.
من میخواهم که اظهار افتخار بکنم که در این مقطع در ایران هستم و میخوام که تشکر و قدردانی خودم رو از رهبر معظم انقلاب اسلامی حضرت آیت الله خامنه‌ای داشته باشم و همینطور دکتر رضایی عضو محترم مجمع تشخیص مصلحت نظام به خاطر دعوتشون و همینطور استاد دانشگاه تهران جناب آقای دکتر فؤاد ایزدی به خاطر فرصتی که در اختیار من قرار دادن که بتونم سخنرانی‌ها و صحبت خودم رو داشته باشم. Please.
I also was invited to the holy city of Qum to speak to the students there and to meet with the Grand Ayatollah Makharim Shirazi. And my stay and our stay has been very, very rewarding. And I thank the people of Iran, all those with whom we had contact, for their wonderful brotherly reception of us.
من همینطور به شهر مقدس قم دعوت شدم و اونجا برای دانشجویان صحبت‌هایی رو داشتم و همینطور دیداری با حضرت آیت الله العظما مکارم شیرازی داشتم و تونستم با ایشون ملاقات داشته باشم و میخوام از مردم ایران به خاطر مهمان نوازیشون و به خاطر محبتی که به من دارن قدردانی و تشکر بکنم.
I must say I have not enjoyed reading the press commentary on my visit here.
من باید بگم که از بازخورد رسانه‌ها در مورد دیدار من از ایران بگم که راضی نیستم و بازخورد خوبی رو نداشتم.
But I guess I should not expect any different from a Zionist-controlled press, especially my being in the Islamic Republic of Iran.
البته باید بگیم که رسانه‌هایی که تحت کنترل رژیم صهیونیستی هستند انتظار دیگه‌ای نمیشه از این رسانه‌ها داشت به خاطر آمدن من به ایران.
I want to thank Brother Talib Zadeh and his lovely wife Zainab for their help of us since we have been in the Republic.
من میخوام که از برادر محترمون آقای طالبزاده و همینطور همسر محترمشون تشکر بکنم به خاطر پذیرفتن ما در اینجا.
Allah says in the Quran that the people who have been writing about me, it says they altered the word of Allah after they knew it out of its place.
خداوند در قرآن در مورد افرادی که در مورد من نوشتن می‌فرمایند که آنها حق رو کتمان می‌کردند با وجود اینکه می‌دونستند هر چی هست.
So if they would alter the word of God himself, what chance do I have that my word, my character, my reputation would not be altered by these same Satans?
خب وقتی که کلام خدا رو تغییر میدن و تحریف میکنن، من چه انتظاری میتونم داشته باشم که این رسانه‌های تحت کنترل رژیم صهیونیستی کلام من و شخصیت من و اعتبار من رو تحریف نکنن؟
What is it that you fear about Louis Farrakhan? It is that God has blessed us to know the truth of Shaitan.
از چی میترسید که در مورد لوئیس فراخان اینطور مینویسید؟ شاید فقط این باشه که شما از شیطان میترسید.
This is the day that Shaitan must be unmasked and revealed to the world.
امروز روزی هستش که چهره و نقاب شیطان باید کنار بره و مشخص بشه چهره واقعی شیطان.
That mission has been given to me.
و این مأموریت بر دوش من هست.
It's a very dangerous assignment.
تکلیف بسیار خطرناکی است.
But Satan or Shaitan has deceived the whole world.
اما شیطان همه دنیا رو فریب داده.
In the Quran, Allah is having a discussion with Satan.
توی قرآن خداوند بحثی رو با شیطان داره.
And Satan is saying to God, because you have judged me as one who is erring and caused me to remain disappointed, I am going to lie in wait for them in your straight path, and I will make all of them deviate. And Allah said, whoever follows you, I will certainly fill hell with you all.
شیطان به خدا و به خداوند میگه که به خاطر اینکه تو من رو منحرف دونستی و من رو ناامید کردی، من هم منتظر لحظه‌ای خواهم بود که بتونم بنده های تو رو منحرف بکنم و خداوند این وعده رو داده که کسی که از شیطان پیروی بکنه و همه رو در جهنم داشته باشه.
What is the straight path of God? Is it not the truth of his revelation that has inspired Judaism, Christianity, and Islam?
راه مستقیم خداوند چیست؟ به جز راهی است که در اسلام، در مسیحیت، در یهودیت هست.
So Satan has poisoned Judaism, Christianity, and Islam. And that is why Imam Mahdi has to come to expose Satan and cleanse and purify religion, that we as human beings may once again be as we should be, brothers and sisters in love with one another.
شیطان در حقیقت چهره اسلام و مسیحیت و یهودیت رو مسموم کرده و خدشه‌دار کرده. به خاطر این هستش که حضرت مهدی عجل الله تعالی فرجه شریف باید بیان، به خاطر اینکه چهره واقعی شیطان رو برملا بکنن و بار دیگر دین و مذهب رو پاک و تطهیر بکنن و ما انسان‌ها با برادری و با مودت در کنار هم زندگی بکنیم برای بار دیگر.
Allah has guided us, and 23 years ago I was blessed to be the one through whom the Million Man March was organized in America, where through my voice I called for 1 million, and nearly 2 million black men showed up in Washington, D.C. for the Million Man March.
من افتخار این رو داشتم که 20 سال قبل در راهپیمایی‌های میلیون مارچ شرکت بکنم و روزی بودش که در شهر واشنگتن حدود 2 میلیون افراد حضور پیدا کردند در راهپیمایی‌های میلیون مارچ. Million Man March.
I pray that the translation will be as I say it. And if you are interested in all that I have said since I have been in this country, it will be made available to you. My private meetings and my public meetings, if it is granted, you may have it. Because whatever I say in private, I am not afraid to say it in the public.
اگر علاقه‌مند باشین که همه صحبت‌هایی که از روزی که من در ایران بودم رو داشته باشین، چه در جلسات خصوصی من و چه در جلسات عمومی من فکر می‌کنم که اینها در اختیار شما قرار خواهد گرفت. به خاطر اینکه مطالبی که من در جلسات خصوصی هم عنوان کردم، ابایی ندارم که در جلسات عمومی هم اونها رو ابراز بکنم.
The theme of the Million Man March was based on 3 principles: atonement, reconciliation, and responsibility. And I have used those 3 principles all over the world to try to bring together disparate groups who belong as one. But atonement means that we must acknowledge our wrong to one another, seek atonement for the wrong, ask forgiveness for the wrong, and reconcile our differences so that we may stand as a united front in the face of Shaitan.
راهپیمایی‌های میلیون من مارچ بر پایه 3 اصل و 3 رکن بنا شدن: atonement, reconciliation. Can I ask the third principle again, sir?
Responsibility.
بر اساس اون که من متوجه شدم، توبه، آشتی و مسئولیت. من تلاشم بوده که گروه‌های مختلف رو کنار هم بیارم برای اینکه اول از همه اشتباهات خودمون رو بپذیریم و بعد در کنار هم دیگه با سازش و با وحدت در کنار هم زندگی بکنیم.
The Muslim world is in deep trouble. The Muslim world needs a process that will cause us to reconcile our differences and come together as one ummah. In that way, Satan will never destroy our nations and our community as long as we resolve our differences and come together as one ummah, one community.
جامعه اسلامی نیاز به یک فرایندی داره که باعث بشه که ما تفاوت‌ها و اختلافاتمون رو کنار بذاریم و با وحدت در کنار هم در قالب یک جامعه با هم زندگی بکنیم به طوری که شیطان نتونه به ما صدمه‌ای بزنه.
I am here at this moment in time because my brothers and sisters here are facing the wrath of the President of the United States and the government of America in these harsh sanctions that are being imposed on the government and people of Iran.
من در مقطع اینجا هستم که برادران و خواهران من به خاطر غضب رئیس جمهور آمریکا و دولت آمریکا و همینطور اعمال تحریم‌های ظالمانه برادران و خواهران من رو در ایران مورد هجمه قرار دادن.
The world said they did not want Iran to possess nuclear weapons.
دنیا گفتش که ایران نباید سلاح هسته‌ای داشته باشه.
So an agreement was made between the government of the Islamic Republic of Iran, the government of the United States of America, England, France, Germany, China, and Russia.
و بر همین اساس توافقنامه امضا شد بین ایالات متحده آمریکا، ایران، چین، آلمان، انگلیس و همینطور روسیه و فرانسه.
Every investigative body during the years of this treaty arrangement said that Iran had never violated one aspect of that agreement.
همه نهادهای ناظر به اتفاق گفتن که ایران حتی یکی از مفاد این معاهده رو هم نقض نکرده تا به حال.
In America, they said that they gave Iran billions of dollars, but they never said that they were holding over $150 billion of Iranian money and they were supposed to give it back during the treaty arrangement. But has Iran gotten that money back yet? Can anybody answer that question for me?
گفتن که به ایران میلیاردها دلار پول دادن، اما 150 میلیارد دلاری که قرار بود بر اساس این توافقنامه به ایران داده بشه واقعا این اتفاق افتاده؟ کسی میتونه این سوال من رو جواب بده؟
Iran fulfilled what she signed to do on that paper, but America has not.
ایران به تعهد خودش و به امضای خودش که در اون توافقنامه اومده بود پایبند بود، اما امریکا نه.
And with the advent of our new president, President Donald Trump, he did not like the arrangement, so unilaterally he ripped it up.
و با آمدن رئیس جمهور ترامپ ایشون از این توافقنامه خوشش نیامد و اون رو پاره کرد.
And now has imposed, according to what I have read, the harshest sanctions ever imposed on any nation.
و تا اونجایی که من خوندم و متوجه شدم الان رئیس جمهور آمریکا سخت‌ترین تحریم‌ها رو علیه ایران اعمال کرده.
Allah says in the Quran, the devil promises only to deceive.
و خداوند در قرآن می‌فرمایند که شیطان وعده داده که همه رو فریب بده.
So here we are. Why did you come, Farrakhan? Because this is my family. Along with my family in America, my family in Africa, my family in the Caribbean, my family in Asia. Though I am born in America, I am a citizen of the world because of my Islam.
و سوال این هست که فراخان چرا اینجا هستی؟ به خاطر اینکه خانواده من اینجا هست. همونطور که خانواده من در آفریقا هست، در آسیا و هر جای دنیا. من در امریکا متولد شدم اما شهروند دنیا هستم.
As the hurricanes destroyed parts of Texas and Florida and Puerto Rico, wherever we could offer our help to our brothers and sisters and those who were white or Asian or Hispanic, we did what we could to help.
همونطور که زمانی که طوفان مناطقی از امریکا رو مثل تگزاس، فلوریدا و همینطور جزیره پورتوریکو صدمه زد، ما هر کمکی که از دستمون برمی‌آمد براشون انجام دادیم.
So why should not we come to Iran to encourage the believers, to strengthen them, to encourage them that Allah is trying us, but if we are steadfast under trial, we will surely get the favor of God and we will be victorious.
و من اینجا هستم که بتونم با برادران مؤمن خودم صحبت بکنم و به اونها بگم که این یک آزمایش الهی است و اگر که ما مقاوم باشیم در برابر این آزمایش شامل نعمت خداوند خواهیم شد.
So my enemies are saying that maybe I should stay in Iran, not come back to America. I want to warn you, you speak as the foolish. America is mine. America is ours. Our sweat and our blood built America. How dare you say that we have no place there? How dare you say that we cannot criticize your evil and point it out to you? I am more of a patriot than most of you who bow down to evil, and it is only truth that will make America better. And I speak that truth, and I will be back in America to speak it again.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
خب من روی صحبتم هستش با کسانی که به من هشدار دادن که همونطور که به ایران رفتی همونجا بمون و دیگه به امریکا برگ نگرد. اما چطور جرأت میکنید با من اینطور حرف بزنید؟ آمریکا متعلق به من هست. آمریکا متعلق به ما هست. عرق و خون ما باعث شده که امریکا به وجود بیاد. و من شاید باید به اونها بگم که من خیلی وطن پرستر از اونهایی هستم که ادعا میکنن که آمریکا برای اونهاست. و من تسلیم نخواهم شد، به امریکا برخواهم گشت و این حقیقت رو اونجا هم بازگو خواهم کرد.
I warn you, in the name of the two that back me, Imam Mahdi and Al-Masih, the Messiah, I'm coming home to face whatever you have for me. But I hope you will be ready to face whatever my backers have for you.
من هشدار میدم به شما به نام حضرت مهدی و همینطور حضرت مسیح که من حمایت اینها رو خواهم داشت و حمایت حقیقت و حق رو در کنار خودم خواهم داشت.
Now you may ask me your questions.
و الان میتونید اگر سوالی هستش از من بپرسید. خب اعلام میکنم دوستان که عزیزانی که تازه تشریف آوردن اسمشون رو اینجا بدن که بتونن سوالات خودشون رو از آقای لوئیس فراخان بپرسن و من اجازه میخوام که از اولین دوستمون دعوت بکنم که سوال خودشون رو داشته باشن اگه اجازه هست. جناب آقای محمد رضا فخاری از خبرگزاری صدا و سیما. Mr. Fakhari from IRIB News.
Thank you for spending your precious time. It's my pleasure to ask you
What do you think about U.S. foreign policy in Middle East? Thank you.
خیلی متشکرم از وقتی که گذاشتین و ممنونم از وقتی که در اختیار من گذاشتین که سوال خودم رو بپرسم و من میخوام از شما بپرسم که نظر شما در مورد سیاست‌های امریکا در خاورمیانه چی هست؟
When you are a drug addict, you say whatever you need to say, do whatever you need to do to satisfy your addiction.
وقتی که شما اعتیاد به مواد مخدر دارین، اون وقت هستش که هر چیزی رو به زبون میارین، هر کاری رو که دوست دارین انجام میدین، به خاطر اینکه این اعتیاد خودتون رو بهش بتونین به نیازهای خودتون جواب بدین.
The Middle East is rich, rich, rich with oil.
خاورمیانه بسیار غنی از منابع نفتی هست.
And any great industrial nation is in need of the fuel that fuels the industry of that nation.
و هر کشور بزرگ صنعتی نیاز به این منابع نفتی داره برای اینکه بتونه صنایع خودش رو به پیش ببره.
America and England and others have always wanted access to the oil of this region, and their foreign policy is aimed at that objective.
آمریکا، انگلیس و بقیه همیشه دنبال این بودن که دسترسی به این منابع نفتی داشته باشن و به خاطر این اهدافشون همیشه به این سمت سوق داده شده.
In Iran, Mohammad Mossadegh, in a democratically fostered election, became the head of Iran. And he wanted the oil that comes from the earth in Iran to be of benefit to every citizen of Iran, to give those citizens a decent quality of life.
در ایران محمد مصدق در یک انتخابات دموکراتیک رهبر ایران شد و او اعلام کرد که نفتی که از خاک ایران بیرون میاد باید برای مردم ایران مصرف بشه و مزایای اون به خود مردم ایران برسه.
So the policy of my country became the idea to get Mossadegh out of the way, which a CIA plot did overthrow Mossadegh and give you in his place the Shah of Iran.
و به خاطر همین بود که کشور من دست به کار شد و در قالب یک توطئه محمد مصدق رو برکنار کرد، توطئه‌ای از سوی سیا و شاه رو جایگزین او کرد.
Through the Shah of Iran, the oil became a possession of America and the West, and the Shah was rich and powerful, and those that went along were rich, but the Iranian people suffered.
از طریق شاه بود که مالکیت این نفت به دست امریکا و غربی‌ها افتاد و شاه و ملازمانش و همینطور غرب ثروتمند بودن و مردم ایران در فقر زندگی می‌کردند.
People who did not like what was going on were persecuted, put to death, and among them was a man named Khomeini.
و کسانی که این شرایط رو دوست نداشتند مورد آزار و اذیت قرار گرفتند و یا اینکه کشته شدند و یکی از این افراد هم حضرت آیت الله امام خمینی بود.
He was exiled from his home into Turkey and France and Syria and Iraq. But 39 years ago, the students erupted because while he was away, he was making cassette tapes and spreading his word, and the word was taking root in the Iranian people, and the Iranian revolution began.
به خاطر این نارضایتی بودش که امام خمینی تبعید شد به ترکیه، فرانسه و عراق و 30 سال قبل بود که دانشجویان قیام کردند و در قالب نوارهای صوتی که امام خمینی در بین مردم پخش می‌کردند این افراد به انقلاب روی آوردند.
Now if we fast forward to 2018, the policy of our government as brought to Saudi Arabia by President Trump, who asked the King of Arabia, King Salman, to call all the Sunni nations together in Riyadh, and he would come and address them.
و ما برمیگردیم به سال 2018 که بر اساس سیاست دولت ما و بر اساس خواسته ای از رئیس جمهور ترامپ که از پادشاه عربستان خواستن که همه رهبران کشورهای اهل تسنن مسلمان رو به ریاض دعوت بکنن که او هم ترامپ هم در اونجا حضور پیدا بکنه.
And when President Trump went to Riyadh, I saw him with pictures of new jet fighter planes, showing it to the king, and then they announced $110 billion sale of weapons to Saudi, the United Arab Emirates, billions of dollars for weapons. But if you listen carefully to his speech, he was making toxic the division between Sunni and Shia and aiming those weapons subtly toward Iran, and then openly saying to all of those nations they should reject their brother Iran.
وقتی که رئیس جمهور ترامپ رو متصاویری که از جلساتش در ریاض رو مشاهده می‌کردیم، تصاویری از هواپیماهای جنگی و اسلحه و سلاح‌هایی بودش که ترامپ به عربستانی‌ها فروخت به ارزش 110 میلیارد دلار و بعد این رئیس جمهور با هدفی زهرآلود باعث ایجاد تفرقه بین این کشورها شد و به اونها گفتش که شما این اسلحه ها رو باید علیه ایران به کار ببرین و باعث شد که یک کشور برادر و مسلمان رو جدا بکنه از کشورهای مسلمان دیگر.
My teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, taught me years ago that the policies of our government would bring about a war in the Middle East that would be a trigger to the greatest war that has ever been, the war of Armageddon, spoken of in the Bible. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
معلم من به من چند سال پیش هشدار داد که سیاست کشور من و دولت من باعث ایجاد جنگی مخرب در خاورمیانه خواهد شد. جنگی که در انجیل در موردش صحبت شده. Armageddon.
My teacher wrote an article warning America in a time of great confusion over who is going to be president, either a Democratic president or a Republican. And we saw that played out 2 years ago And the Honorable Elijah Muhammad taught us that we were living in that which is called the lull before the storm.
معلم من مقاله‌ای رو در بحبوحه ایام انتخابات نوشتن در مورد اینکه آیا دموکرات‌ها و یا جمهوری‌خواها دولت رو به دست خواهند گرفت و اونجا زمانی بود که به من گفتش که ما الان شاهد آرامشی قبل از طوفان هستیم.
No matter who wins the election, that president would have to guide America through the most difficult time in world affairs. Mr. Trump is that leader today. And Elijah Muhammad taught me that I should say to him, you would be wise, Mr. Trump, to delay the storm as long as you can.
زمانی بودش که ما عقیده داشتیم برهه حساسی هست در آینده سیاست خارجی آمریکا و معلم من به من گفتش که این رئیس جمهور وظیفه و مسئولیت خطیری داره که این طوفان رو هر چقدر که بتونه به تأخیر بیاندازه.
Because the longer the storm is delayed is to not only America's advantage, but is to the advantage of the world.
به خاطر اینکه هر چقدر این طوفان زمان وقوعش به تأخیر بیفته نه تنها به نفع ایالات متحده هست بلکه به نفع تمام دنیاست.
These sanctions are the predicate for a new war.
این تحریم ها میتونه مقدمه‌ای برای جنگی جدید باشه.
A reporter asked my teacher, is America going to remain in the Middle East? And my teacher said, America is going to come out of the Middle East. And when they asked about war, he said, yes, there would be war.
و خبرنگاری از معلم من پرسید که آیا امریکا در خاورمیانه خواهد ماند و جواب این بودش که از خاورمیانه بیرون خواهد اومد و وقتی که از وقوع جنگ از ایشون پرسیدن گفتن بله جنگی به وقوع خواهد پیوست.
And he said bloodshed in this area would be much.
و گفتش که خونریزی در این منطقه از جهان زیاد خواهد بود.
I am begging our president and the government that supports him to be very, very careful, because if the trigger of war in the Middle East is pulled by you using your surrogates at the insistence of Israel, then the war will trigger another kind of war which will bring China, Russia, all of the nations into a war. And it bothers me to say this to you, Mr. President, but the war will end America as you know it. So when these Iranians chant death to America, death to Israel, no chant can bring about your death, but it is your policies that are eroding trust for you in the world, favor for you in the world. And now you're pulling apart, confused. And if you do this, you will bring about, not the Iranian chant, you will bring about the death of the greatest nation that has been on this earth in the last 6,000 years. I am a warner to you. I am a friend to America, not an enemy. But if you do not heed the warning and correct your path, death will come. And
من میخوام که از رئیس جمهورمون خواهش بکنم که مراقب باشن، بسیار مراقب باشن. به خاطر اینکه اگر ماشی جنگ کشیده بشه و امریکا با استفاده از متحدینش همچون اسرائیل بخوان جنگی رو ایجاد بکنن و شروع بکنن در این منطقه، اون زمان هستش که کشورهای دیگر هم وارد این جنگ میشن، مثل چین، روسیه، و این جنگی خواهد بود که پایان امریکا را رقم خواهد زد. و من میخوام به رئیس جمهور ترامپ این هشدار رو بدم که این شعارهای ایرانیان و شعارهای مرگ بر امریکا و مرگ بر اسرائیل ایرانیان نیست که باعث پایان دادن به امریکا خواهد بود و این سیاستهای شما هست و شما مسئول نابودی امریکا خواهید بود.
My host tells us that there are many questions, so they've asked me to make my answer short. But if you listen to what I've said, I've answered most all your questions already.
برگزار کنندگان مراسم از من خواستن که به خاطر اینکه سوالهای زیادی وجود داره من جوابهام رو کوتاه بکنم، اما اگر که به صحبتهای من تاکنون گوش کرده باشین باید بگم که پاسخ بسیاری از سوالات رو من تاکنون دادم.
But you may ask, and I'll do my best to answer very short.
اما شما سوالاتتون رو بپرسین و من تلاش خواهم کرد که کوتاه جواب بدم. خبرنگار محترم از خبرگزاری فارس. خواهش می‌کنم.
Mr. Farrakhan, I'm from Fars News Agency. I would like to ask you, what has the Nation of Islam done so far to disclose the smear campaign of the United States against Iran, and what does it has done so far for the Muslim people suffering in Yemen and Syria?
خب جناب آقای فراخان، من از خبرگزاری فارس هستم و سوال من از شما این هست که ملت اسلام تاکنون چه اقداماتی رو جهت مقابله با اقدامات ایران هراسانه امریکا انجام داده و همینطور چه اقداماتی برای جلوگیری از جنگ مثل جنگ یمن.
You know, my dear sister, truth is the best weapon against a false smear. You just heard me.
خواهر محترم، من باید به شما بگم که حقیقت بهترین مدافع علیه این اقدامات ایذایی هست.
The Quran says, had we wished to take a pastime before ourselves, we would have done it. Nay, we cast truth at falsehood till we knock out its brains. That is my assignment, to speak truth. The smear that's on you is the smear that's on me. So all of us who want change, if we are too cowardly to write the truth, too cowardly to speak the truth, too cowardly to live for the truth, and too cowardly to die for the establishment of the truth, then you're too cowardly to have the smear removed from you.
من باید به شما بگم که ما باید همیشه پیرو حقیقت باشیم و حقیقت رو بگیم. اگر که بترسیم که حقیقت رو بنویسیم یا در مورد حقیقت صحبت بکنیم و زندگیمون رو بر اساس حقیقت بنا بکنیم و اینکه اگر بترسیم که به خاطر حقیقت بمیریم، پس باید دیگه نباید گله‌ای داشته باشیم از این اقداماتی که علیه ما صورت میگیره.
May I respectfully say, what is going on in Yemen is a crime against humanity. American planes, American bombs are being used. What is going on with the Rohingya Muslims is a crime. What is going on with the Uyghur Muslims in China is a crime. Wherever Muslims are persecuted, wherever human beings are persecuted, there has to be an uprising against persecution, because persecution is worse, the Quran says, than slaughter. We must arise. We must throw a stone that we have in our hand against persecution, against the wickedness of the tyranny of governments. Speak the truth if you know it. Rise against it if you can. But everybody who loves truth and seeks justice and peace must rise up against the forces of evil, injustice, and falsehood. Nobody outside can do it for you if you are not willing to do it for yourself.
جسارتا میخوام این نکته رو بگم خدمت شما که این اتفاقی که در یمن داره میفته جرم علیه انسانیت هست. اتفاقی که علیه مسلمانان روهینگیا در میانمار اتفاق افتاده جرم علیه انسانیت هست. همینطور آزار و اذیتی که مسلمانان در چین دچارش هستند جرم علیه انسانیت هست. کاری که ما باید بکنیم این هستش که ما نباید انتظار داشته باشیم که دیگران برای ما کاری انجام بدن. ما خودمون باید با این آزار و اذیت مقابله بکنیم. باید پیرو به حقیقت باشیم. سنگی که در دستانمون هست رو علیه شر و بدی و پلیدی پرتاب بکنیم و اون زمان هستش که ما میتونیم نجات پیدا بکنیم از این اقدام.
The power of the press. What good is a press if the press won't write truth?
وظیفه رسانه ها رسانه چه سودی خواهد داشت اگر که در مورد حقیقت ننویسه؟
If we are afraid to speak the truth, to correct anything that is wrong in government, that's the beauty of the press.
ما اگر که نتونیم حقیقت رو عنوان بکنیم و اگر که نتونیم از دولتمون انتقاد بکنیم سود این رسانه ها چه خواهد بود؟
Nobody can give you that courage.
هیچ کس نمیتونه این جسارت رو و این جرأت رو به شما بده.
You must have the courage to speak truth to bring about the change that you seek.
و خود شما باید این جرأت و جسارت رو داشته باشین که حقیقت رو عنوان بکنین که بتونین تغییر ایجاد بکنین.
Next question, please.
سوال بعدی خواهش میکنم. جناب آقای جلالی از PressTV.
Hello, sir.
How are
Hello,
you?
sir. I think it's not working, is it?
I hear you very well, sir.
Thank you very much. I've got a loud voice. So I'm PressTV correspondent Yusuf Jalali. Death to the United States is not a slogan chanted by the Iranian government against the U.S. government or the U.S. people, but it's a slogan chanted by the Iranian people against the American leaders.
I know.
So, and it's not, its roots are not just about the 1979 Islamic Revolution, but it's way back before it. If you turn the pages of history back to 1953, and you clearly mentioned it when the United States reinstated monarchy in Iran. So it's clear that the Iranian people have had a very dark memory about what the United States did back then. So death to the United States is not a slogan chanted by the government. So the United States, if it wants to reimpose sanctions, it's reimposing sanctions against the Iranian people, not
That's
the Iranian
correct.
government. So the Western media outlets, especially the United States media outlets, are accusing you these days of leading death to the United States. I just read a couple of news items about you and how the Western media is accusing you of chanting the death to the United States. I want to ask you this question. Are you willing to chant the slogan of death to the United States? Because you are a person who is living in the United States, and you are a person who is exposed to some of the policies that are done and conducted against you, carried out against you in the United States. The black community is in the United States is humiliated, and you are a black person, and at the same time you're a Muslim. And as you see, Muslims these days are exposed to some of the wrong policies committed by the United States. So would you chant this slogan of
No, I will not do that. I will not do that. I would ask who sent you to ask that question.
That's right.
I see you seem to be one of those who are paid at PressTV to provoke that. That's not my chant. Listen to me.
Not actually.
No, listen
Maybe
to
the
me.
way
You
I
asked
put
me a
forward my
question.
question is wrong. Maybe the way I put forward my
Your question is,
But
your question,
Stop.
I heard you.
Stop talking.
I heard you. But I also heard something else about you that I don't like. You want me to chant because they lied on me and said I led a chant. I know that chant came from the people of Iran. And this sanction is what's hurting the people of Iran. They have a right to chant it. But I am not a chanter. I am a worker for God. And the truth will undo falsehood, and the righteous will win against the wicked. Not with a chant, but with actual words and deeds. I just don't, I don't like your attitude, man. I don't like that. You know, I have to say this. I'm not just listening to your questions. God is showing me your motives. And I'm addressing with anger your motive. I know the question. I don't like it. Now, I'll take one or two more questions, but if you have not heard me yet, then I'm wasting my time. Is there another question?
سوالی بعدی خواهش می‌کنم. آقای بسراوی از شبکه الجزیره انگلیس.
Assalamu alaikum, sir. My name is Zain Basravi. I'm from Al Jazeera English. Nice to meet you.
Al Jazeera English, sir.
Yes, thank you,
Can
brother.
you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Sir, so my question has to do with the fact that you, as a civil rights leader yourself, I was wondering what your impressions were of the anti-government, anti-corruption, economy-related protests that we've seen here in Iran. And did you have any discussions about that during your visit with officials here?
خب سوال من از جناب آقای فرخان این هست که همونطور که من میدونم شما یکی از فعالان حقوق مدنی هم هستید. نظر شما رو در مورد تظاهراتی که در یک سال اخیر در برخی از برهه‌ها در ایران داشتیم در مورد گله‌هایی که مردم از مسائل اقتصادی و معیشتی داشتن، نظر شما در مورد این تظاهرات چی هست؟
I thank you, Al Jazeera, for your question.
ممنونم از سوالی که پرسیدید.
In many of my commentaries, I was telling us to look within ourselves, because your focus on the West is not hurting the West, but our focus on ourselves and the corruption that's eating away at our faith is what is weakening the Ummah. So I always spoke, wherever I went, that we must look within ourselves. The greatest jihad is not with somebody else. The greatest struggle is against the shaitan of self that turns you away from truth and faith and makes you an instrument of the enemy. Yes, I talk about it everywhere I go, because the greatest enemy that we have is not the enemy outside, it's the enemy within. And that's what the Quran warns us against, the enemy within.
من صحبتی که میخوام با شما داشته باشم این هستش که باید ما تمرکز بر روی خودمون داشته باشیم، به خاطر اینکه تمرکز بر روی غرب باعث میشه که باعث تضعیف ایمان ما خواهد شد. ما باید به درون خودمون بنگریم، ما باید نگاهمون به درون خودمون باشه نه به بیرون. جنگ واقعی و جهاد واقعی و جنگ علیه دشمن این هستش که ما به خودمون اتکا داشته باشیم، همونطور که قرآن میفرمایند که دشمن بزرگ ما بیرون نیست و در درون خود ما هست و ما باید با این دشمن بجنگیم.
One more question, please.
سوال بعدی از آخرین سوال آقای راندولف از AFP. Mr. Randolph from AFP, please.
Hello, sir. Thank you very much for your talk. There's a lively debate here in Iran about the extent to which religious injunctions should be a matter for the state and the security forces, and how much it should be something personal. I was wondering if you could speak a little on that.
Would you help me to understand your question more?
For instance, should religious obligations be something that is enforced by the government, or is it something that should come from within?
سوال من از شما این هستش که در ایران و نظر شما در مورد میزان دخالت مذهب در حکومت و میزان نقش مذهب در حکومت ایران چی هست؟
The Quran has arguments for every occasion.
قرآن برای همه مواقع یک پیامی رو داره.
The Quran gives us laws that a Muslim observes not out of force from government, but out of the force of conviction of faith.
قرآن می‌فرمایند که انسان نه بر اساس اجباری که از سوی دولت بر او هست اقدام میکنه، بلکه بر اساس اختیار و میل خودش هستش که جلو میره.
Whatever country you live in, there are laws. And the laws of the country are of no value unless they are enforced by those who have the law to enforce. And a citizen of the country should be respectful of those laws. So America says we are not a government of men, we are a government of laws. And it is law that orders the society. This is a different experiment in Iran. If you live under the Shah, you didn't live under the laws of Quran. I was a Christian, and I still love my Christian family and roots.
I'm sorry. Can I have a translation?
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Yes. I may feel. I mean, I could
No, go
just
ahead,
lose
but I'm
something.
sorry.
I'm sorry to interrupt you.
No, that's okay.
در هر کشوری قوانینی وجود دارند و این قوانین فقط زمانی اجرا خواهند شد که افرادی باشند که تضمین اجرای این قوانین رو داشته باشند. همونطور که ما در امریکا داریم که امریکا کشور و دولت اشخاص نیست و کشور و دولت قانون هست و اگر که شما به عنوان مثال تحت رژیم شاهنشاهی نخواستین زندگی بکنید و قوانین رو نخواستین پیروی بکنید، در اصل شما نخواستین که برخلاف قوانین قرآن زندگی بکنید. من خودم قبل از گرایش به دین اسلام مسیحی بودم و همچنان خانواده مسیحی خودم رو دوست دارم.
In the nation of Islam in America, we have laws. we who believe in Allah and believe in the Prophet Muhammad and believe in our teacher, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, and believe in Quran, we try our best to live those laws, not by force of government, but by the force of our faith.
در جامعه مسلمانان آمریکا ما قوانینی داریم و ما افرادی هستیم که به خداوند، به رسول خدا و همینطور به معلم خودمون ایمان داریم و ما بر اساس میل خودمون، نه بر اساس اجبار دولت، به این قوانین احترام میذاریم.
So when you break the law, there are those who enforce the law. We try our best to live our law because that is what protects the society that we have.
قانون باعث میشه که پشتوانه جامعه‌ای باشه که ما در اون زندگی میکنیم.
I have watched in the Muslim world when we try to impose Sharia on a people that have lived under Western influence, we sometimes do not realize you have to give a people who have lived a reckless, free lifetime to reform.
اون وقتی که قصد تحمیل شریعت رو بر افرادی داریم که تحت تاثیر غرب زندگی کردن، ما این مسئله رو متوجه نیستیم که برای به اجرا درآوردن این قوانین ما نیاز به یه سری اصلاحات و زمان داریم برای انجام این اصلاحات.
So our teacher taught us so beautifully. And he punished us when we broke the law, not with physical harm, but he deprived us of the right to be in our society for a time of 90 days, a year, if it's adultery. But the whole idea was to bring us up so that the law is not a burden. We learn to love being righteous.
معلم ما به زیبایی به ما یاد داد که ما این قوانین رو بهش احترام بذاریم.
And I
نه
pray
به خاطر اجبار بلکه به خاطر زیبایی که این نظمی که این قانون به وجود میاره و من دعا میکنم که
I pray that in the exercise of law, we do not misuse our power and authority, then we become tyrants. So there's a delicate balance that has to be achieved.
و من دعا میکنم که این جایگاه ما در قدرت باعث نشه که ما زورگو بشیم و بخوایم تحمیل بکنیم چیزی رو، به خاطر اینکه مرز بسیار ظریفی وجود داره مابین این دو قسمت.
Thank you. I want to thank all of you.
Mr. Marzi Hashimi has one question.
I'm sorry.
This is the last question.
Yes.
It's on. It's on.
It's on, sister.
I hope you have enjoyed your trip. Marzia Hashimi, Anchor Press TV. As we're speaking, actually, there were live feeds from Instagram, from YouTube, that are being blocked right now as we're speaking. Live feeds of this press conference. What is it, Minister Farrakhan, that you think your message here in the Islamic Republic of Iran that has that type of effect that right now even this feed is being blocked? And what can you, as an African American who've lived in the United States, tell the people of Iran who have been fighting or trying to deal with their independence almost 40 years against the United States? What could they learn from your experience?
خب آقای فراخان، همونطور که من باید به شما بگم که این کنفرانس خبری به صورت زنده از مجراهای مختلف مثل اینستاگرام در حال پخش هست و من سوالم از شما این هستش که نظر شما در مورد
بلوک شده اینستاگرام بلوک کرده
Blog or YouTube.
جلوشو گرفتن
Okay. They're saying that the Instagram has been blocked. ولی میخوام نظر شما رو در مورد مقابله ایران با اقدامات امریکا علیه استقلال طلبی مردم ایران بپرسم، به خاطر اینکه شما هم یک آمریکایی آفریقایی هستین و شاید تجربه مشابه رو داشتین در امریکا.
My dear sister, truth uncovers a lie. Truth unmasks deceit. And when you have been a deceiver, and this media has been used to control what comes to the masses, and a man arises not by his own power but by the power of God to speak the truth, then all of these become the enemy of deceit if it's used properly, and all of these can be turned against the speaker of truth.
حقیقت چیزی هستش که دروغ رو برملا میکنه. حقیقت چیزی هستش که فریب رو برملا میکنه. به خاطر اینکه وقتی که شما فریب دهنده باشین و همه ابزارها رو برای فریب به کار بگیرین، اما زمانی که حقیقت وجود داشته باشه و کسی که با قدرت الهی صحبت بکنه نه با قدرت خودش، این حقیقت همچنان وجود خواهد داشت و اگر که همه این ابزارهای رسانه رو شما بخواید به کار بگیرین، این ابزارها خاموش خواهند شد و باز هم حقیقت آشکار در اختیار شما خواهد بود.
They fear what I'm saying. They fear the passion that I speak the truth with.
اونها از چیزی که من میگم میترسن.
They fear that allowing the word to enter the ear of the people unobstructed will bring about the transformation of the human mind. So truth becomes the enemy in a world built on lies.
Sir, indeed.
I'm so sorry.
من باید بگم که
Go, sir.
I'm so sorry that the people are deprived. Because once you know me for yourself, you can judge me properly. Once you hear me for yourself, you can make that determination. And to my brother, I hope I not mean to offend him, but you know, to ask me to chant is to make me say something that pleases the Zionist press that already took my words out of their place to make it difficult for me to go back into my own country. So for my brother to ask me to do that, and for me to even entertain it, is foolish on my part, but it's wicked on his. May God bless you all.
من متاسف هستم که مردم محروم هستند.